Hello and welcome to my guide, the non-cheesy way to defeat the Ancient Fuelweaver. He is considered to be the last boss of DST and he has 16,000 HP and a sanity aura of minus 400 per minute. He has two phases. On his first phase, he will use 3 attacks. His normal attack is taking out his skull and bashing the player. This is very easy to kite, but you can get hit if you are behind him. The snare attack will summon bombs underneath the player, blocking the player from moving. The AoE attack, he will summon bombs on a spiral form that will damage the player upon hitting the ground. When you get him down to 10,000 HP, the second phase will begin, and he will have 3 additional mechanics. The first being spawning dozens of woven shadows that he can eat to restore 400 health for each one. They only have 1 HP though. The second mechanic being spawning 6 hands around the red circle on the arena, and the Fuelweaver will have a shield that makes him immune to damage as long as the hands are still up. They only have 1 HP but can only be targeted for attack if the player is insane. And the last mechanic is the mind control. He will cover the player's screen with shadow creatures. The player is not gonna be able to move or use items for 3.5 seconds. But the Fuelweaver will only use this if the player is insane, and you can stop it by quickly restoring sanity. Now let's talk about what items you're gonna need and possible replacements. With Wilson, I used 3 dark swords that could be replaced by 2 glass cutters, 2 big queen crowns that could be replaced by 3 tulesite crowns, 2 tulesite armor. I would not replace that since you need to tank some heavy damage on the second phase, 2 lazy explorers unless you are using warthogs, at least 3 weather paints, 1 nightmare amulet, and food for both health and sanity restoration. Now let's begin fight. The first phase is quite simple, just kite the normal attacks and use the lazy explorer to get away from the snare. His attack pattern is using AoE, 2 normal attacks, use snare, 3 normal attacks, and repeat the process. I find it easier to step back a bit before he uses the snare, so I have an extra second to teleport. And when you get him to 10,000 HP, the hard part begins. He will summon the hands, being immune to damage, and start spawning the woven shadows. You need to use 1 charge of the weather paint on the Fuelweaver, so as the woven shadows walks towards him, they will be killed by the weather paint effect. As long as the wovens are alive, keep the Fuelweaver under the effect of the weather paint. He will be quick to grab those wovens for the healing. As you do that, you need to use the nightmare amulet to go insane and kill the hands to remove his shield. He will be using the snare attack on you the whole time, so you always need to have the lazy explorer ready. And be careful about the nightmare amulet since going insane allows him to use the mind control attack. And also shadow creatures can spawn around you. If they spawn, just take a quick break to restore sanity and they will despawn after a few seconds. If he uses the mind control, as you are using the nightmare amulet, quickly unequip it to avoid the attack. A quick tip for the amulet is to bind its inventory slots into a accessible button. I binded mine to the middle mouse button, so I can easily equip it and as my armor goes to that slot, I just hit the button again and equip the armor to unequip the amulet quickly. Now, you want to kill the Wovens before the last hand, and there's a big reason for that. It's not gonna take long until he just does all of that again and again. So, after you kill the Wovens and destroy the last hand, the next time he starts the phase, he's going to spawn the Wovens before the shield, which gives you more time to deal a lot of damage. And that's the big secret. Just don't try to avoid damage at all, just tank and spank until he begins the phase again. And just by repeating the process and doing as much damage as you can, you will defeat it. For me, the hardest part is juggling between items on the inventory. So setting up everything to not get confused during the fight is the key. And that's it for the guide. I really hope it was useful to you. Thank you so much for watching and good luck on your fights.